you're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of fantasy. Fantasy football. A journey into a wondrous AstroTurf-covered land, whose sidelines are that of the imagination. That's a field post up ahead. Your next stop, the Battle Royale Fantasy Football Showtime Spectacular. Thanks for joining us on this unique voyage into the human psyche. Imagine a world where 2 is 1, a week smashes into another. In this episode, we zone out, not on just week 9, but week 10 as well. Doink! Excuse me. Yo, you lame! A show into another plane of thought, a 5th down, on a field of wonder and imagination. You lame, Daddy! In this realm of unknown, week 9 was like a cracked mirror reflecting the fate of every team's destiny, with only time to build a structure of retreating hope. In week 9, Joe McEwen faced off against team It's Clobbering Time. In this game, McEwen was like a terrorizing doll set loose on the clobbers.
My name is Talkie Tina, and I think I could even hate you.
Joe made a smooth move by adding wide receiver Aaron Dobson, who exceeded his scoring projection with 25 points. But the Clobbers had a high-scoring wide receiver of their own, T.Y. Hilton, who brought 30 points.
My name is Talkie Tina, and I'm beginning to hate you.
But it wasn't enough for the Clobbers, as the relentless McEwens win, 131-76. With only one loss this season, the Leche Negro took on the split tight ends in week 9. For the splits, it was a rough ride, dealing with their fears and facing the snotty goblin guy causing havoc out on the wing. The Black Milk's biggest score maker was QB Russell Wilson, who tossed in 24 points. Unfortunately for the tight ends, you know it's not good news when your kicker is the top scorer on the team with 16 points. The Leche freak out the split tight ends. They win 73-58. Week 9 was also a good week for the Angry Anchormen as they took team Far From Winning into the outer limits.
Yeah! Dicks! Dicks! Dicks!
It was like the Far Froms were lost in a dimension without hope, and the Anchormen's wide receiver, Andre Johnson, was like a big-headed alien robbing the Far Froms of their ability to speak when he zapped in 40 mind-altering points.
Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
It didn't help that the Far Froms had 2 players on their bye weeks in the game. The Angry Anchormen drive the Far Froms winnings mad. They win 146-53. Now, a quick rundown of week 9's other teams. The Butt Fumbles mind-warped the Brass Knuckles.
My name is Talkie Tina, and you'll be sorry.
They win 101-72. The Pudge give it to Team Sean Puffy. They win 94-83. And the Foam Fingers freak out the multiple scoregasms.
My name is Talkie Tina, and you'd better be nice to me.
They win 77-76. And when you think things have come to a close, a new dimension of fantasy football develops on the plane of human instinctual metaphor and promise. As we now look back at week 10. I need to get home. What the hell is this? Plane of human instinctual metaphor and promise? Okay, then let's just get to it. You mean you're wasting twice as much more people's time with this episode just because you're lazy and didn't do week 9 last week? Lame. It seemed like things were back on track for the butt fumble in week 10 as they took on Team Leche Negro. After week 9's beating of the Brass Knuckles and the Leche's poor play that week, the Fumbles were projected to win. But something went wrong as the Fumbles tried to scold an adolescent Black Milk in week 10.
You set the fire, didn't you?
The Fumbles took it to the face. Leche wins 86-42. And it was a close call for Team Angry Anchormen in week 10 as they took on the multiple scoregasms. It was a bad week for the Anchormen's QB, Eli Manning, as he only brought in 8 points, while the multiples QB, Peyton Manning, piled in on 27 points. It sounded like a case of actor in a mummy costume confused for the real thing by hillbillies kind of situation for the Angry.
Oh no!
Katie. You know this thing?
Yes, it's my husband.
But things worked out for the Angry. They beat the Scoregasms 127-109. It was a case of beauty in the eye of the beholder in week 10's matchup between Far From Winning and the Pudge's legitimate team. The Far Froms had an ugly loss in week 9, while Pudge may have thought they were sitting pretty after their QB Robert Griffin slung in 27 points. It was the Far Froms' Drew Brees and St. Louis defense that would unwrap the reality for the Pudge.
You are so beautiful to me.
Needle, please.
The Far Froms beat the Pudge 127-84. Now, for one last quick run through of the Week 10's remaining matchups, I'll need some help with this from Beyond Belief host Jonathan Frakes.
Now let's look back at tonight's stories and find out which ones are inspired by actual events and which ones are totally false.
Did the McEwens match up against the Foam Fingers in Week 10 go sour for the Foam?
Do you think you've heard a story like this before? You might have. It's true. According to our research, a similar story happened in the Pacific Northwest in the late 80s.
The McEwens win 81-54. In the story of the Sean Puffies taking on the Brass Knuckles, did the Brass Knuckles pull out ahead and win against the Puffies?
Did a similar story to this one take place? Could be, but we made this one up.
That's right, Jonathan. Complete crap. The Puffies win 81-51. And finally, the story of the Clobber Times matchup with the split tight ends. Do you think the Clobbers clobbered the Splits?
Did you guess it was true? You're right.
Clobbers win 70-34. Well, that's our time. We hope you enjoyed the show despite the interruptions. Whatever, there's a signpost ahead and it reads, "You're better off watching YouTube videos of cats." You almost ruined it. Well, thanks again. Until next time. Hey, seriously, bro. Oh my God. You're me.